Hi everyone, welcome to Ksports Sunday on May 3rd. I'm Marcus Jackson. Over on the Back Talk set tonight is Andrew Ramsey, and we also have a commentary from Alex Reamer. But first we start with last night's Boston Celtics game. Some are saying it was the most exciting opening series in the playoffs. No matter what, Game 7 between the Celtics and the Bulls was a little anticlimactic. The first 6 games provided 7 overtimes and over 100 lead changes. Unbelievable. In Game 7 in Boston last night, the Celtics advanced with their 109-99 win over the Bulls, wrapping up their series 4-3. It wasn't easy, though. Here we are seeing the Celtics getting charged up by their captain, Paul Pierce, at the beginning of the game, and see Kevin Garnett inactive for this game. Watch as Glenn Davis goes to the rim, but misses, and Kendrick Perkins picks it up and dishes it back for an and one. Right here in the first, getting the Celtics pumped up. Next, Ben Gordon crosses up, and then he decides just to let one go, and it's 3 points for the Bulls, and it pulls them up for a new lead. Next, Ben Gordon for another 3, but he misses, and then Rondo throws it right up to Scal, but it's blocked by Derrick Rose. Here we see the complete agility and speed of the young Bulls squad. And here's Paul Pierce driving to the basket and dishing it to Scal, who retaliates with a 3, and it pumps up the Garden, and we're ready to go. Next, we see Ben Gordon just letting 3s go, and he was on fire last night. Next, we see Eddie House going up the floor, but almost stolen, and then Eddie House gets it back, and it's a 3, and now the Celtics are up. Now it's Rondo over to Ray, who hits another 3, and the Celtics are really letting it go here. And then Rondo gets pulled on by Joakim Noah, and it looks like a really hard foul, and Joakim Noah is called for it. And as you can see, the Garden fans are not happy at all. Next, Pierce is dribbling through at least a whole Bulls team and goes to the rack and jams it. And with 2:20 left in the third quarter. Next, we have Ben Gordon with the ball, who dribbles around and goes up for a 3 and makes it. It's a real dagger, and now the Bulls are pulled within 3. Next, House with the fake, the 3, and it's good. House was 5 for 5 tonight with 5 threes. Next, House throws it up to Ray Allen, who looks behind him to see if Miller's there, but gets it anyway and won. Ray almost lost the ball, however, when he looked behind him and saw Miller running right behind him. And as we can see, the Celtics cap off their win, and Miller gets fouled out, and we see this amazing pass as Ray Allen looks behind him, almost loses it, but gets it in. The C's move on to Orlando in the second-round game on Monday. The Boston Red Sox wrapped up their series with the Tampa Bay Rays today at the Trop. Brad Penny gets the start for the Sox. He is opposed by James Shields. At last check, Boston was losing to Tampa 3-5. Last night, the Sox rallied to beat the Rays 10-6. Here we see Evan Longoria with a RBI double cuts the Red Sox lead to 6-5 as he hits in a batter. Next, Tim Wakefield has a bunch of strikeouts in the 5th to shut down the Rays and keep the Sox lead alive, as we see with a great pitch there. Kevin Youkilis in the 6th with the RBI double, and that's his 11th of the year as he drives in Ellsbury and Pedroia. The first Saturday in May belongs to the Kentucky Derby. Yesterday at Churchill Downs in Louisville, one of the biggest upsets in history at the 135th run for the Roses. Keep your eye on the inside rail. Mind the Bird, a 50-1 shot, shifts into another gear and races past all the favorites. Jockey Calvin Borel rode the Kentucky-bred gelding perfectly to a 6 3/4 length win. One of the largest in history. If you were smart enough to bet on the 50-1 shot, your $2 bet paid $103.20 to win. Pioneer of the Nile was second, and Musket Man was third. Now it's time to talk about these items and much more on Back Talk. Remember, Back Talk, a sports talk show for kids, can be seen right here on YoungSportscasters.com every weeknight from 7 to 8 p.m. And you can all call in to make your voice heard. You'll be hearing a lot of Andrew Ramsey on that show, and he is over in the Back Talk studio right now. Andrew?
All right, thank you, Marcus. Again, I'm Andrew Ramsey in the Back Talk studio today with Adam Farward, Alex Friedgood, and Kunal Singh. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. And we've got quite a bit to talk about. And we'll start with the Boston Celtics, who, as Marcus talked about, won Game 7 against the Bulls in the Boston Garden last night in a 109-99 thriller, maybe, but just, a victory over the Bulls. And they move on to play the Orlando Magic next round. Kunal, we'll start with you. What are your initial thoughts about this series or Game 7 the series
Game
as a whole?
7 was mostly about the bench. So it was basically the Celtics bench versus Brad Miller and Kirk Heinrich, and they won. So they won because Scalabrine had 8 points, and basically because Eddie House didn't miss from 3-point range, and he was on fire last night.
Alex, go right ahead.
I got to just add, continue on with Eddie House. He was big with the Celtics, gave him I think the win with all the 3-pointers he made. That's all I got to say to that.
And Adam.
I agree with the bench play. It was great, but I also noticed that in Game 7 especially, the Celtics stepped up their defense a lot, and it shut down the Bulls and caused them to win the game.
Right, Adam, you talk about that superior defense. The Bulls love to play an in-transition game, run up and down the floor. And the Celtics, who have some older veterans, can't exactly do that, for 60 minutes or overtime, as we've seen 7 times in this series in the first round between the Celtics and the Bulls. But like you said, Adam, they really stepped up their defense, the Celtics did, because, we've been seeing prior to Game 7, Derrick Rose and even the Celtics just penetrating the lane time after time. All you really had to do was get past your initial defender, and then there was just space to the hoop. So that's obviously something you can't have, and the Celtics stepped it up. We'll see if they'll be able to continue it, but certainly fatigue has to be a factor. Kunal?
Yeah, it is, and that's all I got to say. It's just the bench was great, and we outscored them, which is the key main factor.
I think with all the veterans, we're going to have a big problem with fatigue going 2 days later. Monday, they start off their second-round series against the Magic. And the Magic are a much slower-paced team, so that's one thing that will help.
They're also rested, though.
Yes. That's another thing is, even though the Magic are rested, the way they pace their game is much slower, and I think that will be a big help to the Celtics going in with fatigue.
Definitely, but Dwight Howard's going to be back, correct?
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard's going to be back. We saw that suspension with the elbow coming up.
After he was suspended, Game 6, the game that the Magic played without Dwight, they won by 25. So
yeah,
it shows that they can still hold their own without him.
The Magic, however, have been also plagued by injuries. 2 of their point guards, Jameer Nelson and Courtney Lee, are out. Yeah. So they have to have J.J. Redick really step up, and maybe there's second coming of J.J. Redick like he was at Duke, and he'll be high scorer. Doubt it, but never underestimate a guy in the NBA. But if we can, I'd love to talk about the questionable, maybe non-calls that were made on Rajon Rondo for the play he made against Brad Miller and the play behind the ball against Kirk Heinrich when he threw him on the scorer's table. Right. We see a lot of people argue, the Rondo play, he was trying to make a basketball play when he went up to get and hit Brad Miller in the face. The ball was in the air. But people forget the play with Dwight Howard was also in the air. The ball was also in the air there. And you could argue that the Dwight Howard play was a basketball play. So why do you think Dwight Howard was suspended and not Rajon Rondo?
First, I think the refs were a little more easier on it. They didn't really see it at first. I think it was just one of the. It looked more like it could have been an accident, and not as intentional as an elbow to the face. And that seems more physical, and can even be more dangerous unless you poke someone's eye out with your hand.
Kunal?
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think Dwight Howard, since he's a bigger guy, might be a bigger foul and a harder foul, which may have caused more hurting on the person and
That's probably
bigger
true.
Injury. Since the Rondo,
Dwight Howard's almost 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Rajon Rondo,
he's 6'1".
Yeah,
Yeah,
around there.